Hey Hunnies, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Tamia, but I go by Mia Danny. So a lot of you guys are probably new to my channel, so welcome. I'm super duper excited to have you guys. One of the first things I want to do on my channel is definitely introduce myself and let you guys get to know me a little bit better and the content that I create. One of the things that I had to consider with becoming a content creator is putting myself out there. And I am a pretty private person, I will say. But yeah, this experience has definitely kind of pushed me to be vulnerable. So let's get vulnerable. Let's get into it. I will open up a little bit more to you guys and kind of tell you guys how I've got to this point. So I have a little story time on how I got pushed into being a content creator full time. I was kind of forced into this, you guys. A little bit of a force. I look at this as a blessing in disguise, and it has truly put me in the position to make this thing happen. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. So I think it's very important to start back from the beginning. And I would say the beginning was probably 2020. Pandemic. Yes, pandemic. 2025, but it all started back then. So going back to 2020, I originally started making content mainly on Instagram. Instagram was so much different back then, you guys. I swear it was so much different. I loved Instagram. I loved posting on Instagram. And mainly what I was posting was fitness content. So a lot of like fitness videos. And I feel like that was the prime time to grow as a fitness influencer because it was just popping back then. Like there's only a few people back then that you could really like follow and focusing on. So it was like, this is your time. And I was trying to take advantage of that. I was. However, over time, for me being in school, trying to graduate and balance all of that with content, still trying to, I guess you want to call it dating. Child, y'all know how college was. And with that, kind of going from posting and then shut down and being literally locked in my apartment by myself. I was living alone. And like I had all this free time to create content. So I did. So I started honing in on it more. As things started to open up a little bit more, as we were able to go outside more, I was able to have fun again, with my friends again, I started to fall off again. So like from like 2020 to like 2023, it was very inconsistent, very inconsistent. Then I made the jump from Instagram to TikTok. And this is crazy because in the pandemic, I was I was against TikTok. I was like, this app is for kids. This is for kids. They just dancing over there. And it's crazy because I'm a dancer too. So to have said this, it's like, girl, what? You're a dancer too? That should be where you were. And in hindsight, I probably should have been over there, but there's no shoulda, coulda, wouldas here. But yeah, I was not like a big fan of TikTok, and now I was about to go crazy because we're about to lose it, which is this country. But anyways, so I made the jump from Instagram to TikTok, and on TikTok, started dancing, started posting funny stuff back then in like 2022, 2023 with TikTok. It was a lot of like doing like movie sketches and things like that. So that's what I was really doing. That and dancing. Very inconsistent once again. By this point I had graduated fully. I was in the workforce fully, and it was just like, that's that. Now let's bring it a little more present. So in 2023, I had got a job opportunity after an internship to do HR full time, talent acquisition specifically. I was working for the startup company in Houston, up and coming. It was a biotech company. I'm not gonna name it, just out of just try not to be too messy. But I had this opportunity, and man, they sold me. These startups will sell you a dream. It was a dream. It was the salary that I was looking for, starting off, great salary for a single woman. And in Houston especially, it had benefits, 100% paid by the company, 401k match. match because we got to get our money up, because I'm trying to retire at 50. Yeah, he was just selling all these perks, lunches and all these like prizes at the end of the year and award ceremonies and all this crap, right? So I was like, hell yeah, I'm taking that offer. And then they was like, you can move up, you can move up, you can move up. Like, I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I can move up. Cool, say less. Naive. Naive. It was like I would say my real first big girl job. So I learned. Going into it, like I said, I was going in talent acquisition, which is recruiting, right? So I was recruiting with the company. And I started off as a recruiting coordinator with the company. And once again, it started off great. My team was very small and niche. Loved I loved my supervisor. She was great. And my team, since we were so smart knit, we worked very well together. And there was growing pains in that, but overall, I'd say that I was pretty happy in my team and in my role. Fast forward maybe like 6 months. Being in a startup environment, typically with startups, they say that some of them can fail. They can fail within the first few years. By this point, this company was past that fail mark, I guess, as far as when they typically fail. But we started to see more struggles financially. And that right there was like, and I wasn't like always in the mix, is like in those higher business conversations. But since I was like a part of HR, there were talks about it. And within like the other branches in the HR team, there were talks about how money is being stretched and stuff like that. Me, I'm still thinking that we're cool. We're in this beautiful building and everything is like we're good, right? Don't get too comfortable. Slowly but surely, things started to like switch. And when they have to switch, you need to attention. Our eyes were wide open. Wide open. It was some strange shit happening at the company. Strange shit. So we went from a very small HR team and we grew. We hired a bunch of people. And I think that it was a very strong HR team once it was completed. I didn't even know like the turmoil that was going behind the scenes because I once again was in my own little bubble, trying to grow within myself and in my career field. I wasn't worried about all the drama and all the other stuff. I'm here to work. We can be friends, but I'm trying to work. So as things started happening, more conversations about how we were financially were being had and how we need to start looking at ways to cut. Whenever you hear cut in a company, all I gotta say is just be aware, be cautious, and just stay on top of your skills and your resume. I'm not saying to like be scared, or to jump ship. I'm just saying just always be prepared. That was probably the biggest thing that I learned from this whole experience is always be prepared. No one's gonna look out for you like you. So remember that. Just remember that. Started having conversations about cuts and things like that. So those big girl, big boy perks were starting to be pulled back. No more free lunches and no more extravagant parties and all of this stuff. It was like money, money, money. So we fast forward to 2024, top of the year. Top of the year at every company, we talk about budget. And with budgets in a company that's struggling financially, we took a very conservative approach. And with that, we're trying to find every which a way to cut back on costs. That means softwares were being looked at. Like I said, perks were being looked at, benefits, things like how many people you actually need in the department in order to get stuff done. What projects are we working on that's costing us a lot of money that's not moving forward? Why aren't they moving forward? Like it was a lot of like talk about every little thing. And our leaders, like our SLT team, like I'm sure they were going through it trying to make sure that the department was good. But one of the easiest ways to cut in a company is to cut the people. And when I tell you, I guess I was so out of the loop at the beginning of the year. We had a layoff first quarter of 2024, and it did cut half of my team. And it was a weird day. It was a weird day. It's coming in to a meeting, and you're thinking it's your whole team, but it was only half of your team there at the meeting. And they mentioned, the cuts, and I was just like, oh. And the crazy thing about it is, I feel like everyone in that meeting knew except for me. I feel like, and it's not that I'm not aware, guys. It was just, when it comes to business and work, like, I am business first. Let's get the job done, and then, like, all the other drama. Like, I was never a drama person, so like having to like be open to the drama at work in order to know what's going on, like, that was beyond me. Because that was another lesson I had to learn with being in corporate. Corporate is very messy. It's so messy. But yeah, like, literally one Monday walked in. Actually, it was virtual. It was virtual. We logged into a meeting, and they was like, "Hey, we had a layoff. Half the team is gone. One guy resigned," and it was just like, wow, this is crazy. And honestly, for me, the cut wasn't as bad as what the cut came with. I understand that layoffs happen. It's the nature of working for a company. You have every potential to get laid off, no matter what company you're with. You can always have potential of being laid off. So it wasn't so much of the idea of being laid off, it was the fact that since half the team was laid off, the whole dynamic of our team changed. And I lost my role, you guys. I lost my role, and I feel like that is what hurt the most. There wasn't even a proper conversation before the decision was made that my role would change. It was kind of like, this is what happened. Here's your new role. Take it or leave it type thing. And there was a conversation after it was presented, but it was kind of like, this is your new role. It wasn't like, do you want this new role? And me being, young and having my own apartment and my own car and a boyfriend and friends, and wanting to do things and travel and all this stuff, and just build up my savings and all that, like, quitting just wasn't an option right then in that moment. I had nothing lined up because I thought I had found a job that I could stay at for a long period of time. So of course I took it, and even in taking that, it took a while for them to actually change the title and the salary to match. For me to even have to ask for a salary change was crazy, because I mean, you taking my role away, and then I have to do more work in a different role. So I wasn't in recruitment anymore. I was just full blown HR. I became an op. And I did not want to be I did not want to be an op. I did not want to be an op. I feel like my boyfriend even made fun of me because he was like, "Oh girl, now you're an op now." And I'm just like, I'm not an op. I'm not an op. See, in recruiting, you're helping people get a job. You're helping them. In HR, you're looking out for the company. Like, that's your goal. Your goal is to make sure that the company is in good standing, right? That's what they're supposed to do. But yeah, so they put me in HR, y'all. Like, HR, full blown generalist, everything HR. So you know what? I was like, Tamia, what I'm gonna do is be smart about this. Stay on your toes, because they're talking about cuts, talking about layoff. Be aware. Just understand that a lot of things are happening. But for me, it was just like, test it out and see if you enjoy the role first before you just quit, because you may like it, you may enjoy it. But what kind of sucked around that time is that we lost our leader, and then, like, my direct leader was going on leave soon. It was kind of like, where is the direction, where is leadership? So literally, from like, when my supervisor went on leave, and all the way up until when she came back from leave, and she had an extended leave too, maybe about 3 to 4 months. No true leadership. No true leadership. Like, we were just out, like, people were doing whatever they wanted. They were doing whatever they wanted, clocking in whenever they wanted, showing up whenever they wanted, going to lunch whenever they wanted, saying, I'm gonna just work until this time, log off, and then log back in at night. It was a lot going on. And they took advantage of it. And I'm not gonna lie to you, like there was some things that I was like, you know what, like I could stop and get a coffee this morning, wake up a little bit late. I didn't panic or anything. Showed up for meetings when I need to show up for meetings. If I finish my work early, going home early. I will say this though, no matter like the times that I was going in and out or whatever, I made sure that my work was done. My work was done. My work was done. But yeah. So all of that happened. And in that, lack of leadership, lack of direction means the team wasn't as cohesive. To lose two leaders at that time where we had cut our team, we we're all in new roles, we're all in a new dynamic, and not having worked directly together, it was hard. It was difficult because beforehand you can tell that they were thoughtful in building their teams, each team within HR. They were very thoughtful in that process, so the teams worked overall. But having to be thrown into like a just like one big team, all in different roles, all different personalities and work ethics, a lot of growing pains that we didn't have a leader to work us through. And me being the person that I am, I like to think of myself as an empath because I can feel the emotions of everyone around me. I felt those emotions and I took on a lot of people's emotions and the drama. I told myself before this that I would never get back in a job where I would cry constantly at work, and I was crying constantly at work. It was not great. I look back at that and I was like, you know what, to me, you stay true to yourself regardless. But like you let them people dump on you too much and they didn't even pour into you. I had to learn from that as well. So all the drama going on, the girls bickering back and forth, meetings. I had to straight up tell them in a meeting, look, all this drama that's going on, we need to fix it because everyone in the company is talking about it. We look bad. We're making mistakes. This is a problem. I had to bring that up. Me. And I was in one of the lower roles at this time. And the fact that no one wanted to address it, and then some people were acting like they didn't know what was going on, I was just like, how can you not see? I think me being so open spiritually and as a person, I see and feel everything. So it was just kind of like, how can you guys not see what's going on? But that's neither here nor there. After we brought that up, the wound was open. So feelings started to be poured out. We started having more one-on-ones with each other. People had problems. And it was just kind of like, you can kind of tell at that point there were silos starting to build. Like everyone just had people that they could trust within the team, but it just wasn't cohesive. A lot of problems, people threatening to quit, things like that. It was just a lot of drama. It was just so much for me. It was just so much. And all of that, as it started inching towards our leader coming back from leave, one person was out the door when she came back. So it was kind of like we lost someone in all the madness. Keep in mind, in the midst of all of this that happened in these several months, we had two more layoffs. They were micro layoffs. And you know what? I'm not gonna say that because I don't know if I'm legally able to say that. I just feel like it was a strategy in order for them to lay off people but not make it like a known thing. But whatever. I'm not gonna go into that. So at this point, we were at 3 layoffs by Q3 of 2024. And at this point, the feeling in the company, everyone was scared. And everyone just constantly working, being scared that this may be their last day. That is a terrible feeling. Like no one felt comfortable. Once again, like I said, you understand that layoffs can happen at any company, but feeling constantly scared all the time that your job may be in jeopardy, it was not healthy. Especially because at this company we had a lot of international people here on work visas. So it's like if you lose your job, you may have to go home, and like stuff like that is just very scary. So I really felt for those people. So at this point, we're in Q3 of 2024 and our leader is back, and we're feeling great. We're feeling great. She had only been back for like a good couple weeks before she told us that she's leaving. And I was just like, tears, instant tears. I started crying. So I was like, girl, what do you mean you're leaving? What do you mean you're leaving? Please stay. Like, we need you. You know what happened? Do you know what happened when you were gone? I have receipts. But I was trying not to be messy. I was trying not to be messy. I was trying to keep the peace. Trying to keep the peace. You're leaving? Like, ooh. All I can say is it was like people were dropping like flies. People were dropping like flies. And the one friend that I could truly trust, that to this day, like, I appreciate her so much. She had to leave and go to a completely different department. And I was so, like, it was bittersweet because I was so proud of her and she deserves everything. I was just like, you know what, go ahead and do what you need to do for yourself, because that team was not working for her. And honestly, it wasn't working for me either, but I was like, I can probably hold out until something else is better. At this point, we went from a whole team to now three people, three people working at this point. It's absolutely insane what was going on. She's leaving, right? And I had a conversation with her. She's like, Tamia, do what's right for you at the end of the day. It was a hard decision for her to make. And she's always there for me. Even after everything, she has that she's going to be there for me. And I truly believe that. And I learned a lot from her. Like, I love seeing strong women succeed and be successful in their career path. So it was just great to have the opportunity to work with her. So at this point, we had got a new leader, and this guy was very, very different as far as our culture goes. He was kind of brought in to make sure that the company doesn't go under. In the midst of all of that, a lot of things started to change. Even the dynamic of the team started to change. And when it got down to three people, we were still working very closely together. We were looking out for each other, and we kind of made a commitment to each other that, if we have any like little tip offs, we will make sure that we inform each other, right? One day, I went into work. It was my work in office day. I noticed that no other person on my team was at their desk. And I was like, okay, that's strange. Maybe they're just in meetings, because sometimes they're in a lot of meetings. So they would come in and out. Or I have to go to a meeting, in and out. I have to go into a meeting, and I have to go into a meeting. And I was like, okay. And at the time, I needed to meet with my lead. Prior to that, I hadn't met with her one on one seriously in like 2-3 weeks, which is not normal. At least it shouldn't be. Whereas she was meeting with everyone else multiple times a week one on one. But they had projects, so I didn't think anything of it. We had our one on one. I was just telling her, look, like, I feel like I'm doing a lot and I feel like I'm not being supported. I feel like you're not supporting me. I feel like I'm kind of in my own little island and little shell, and our team is too small for me to be feeling like that. When I tell you, she was like stone faced, like, the whole time I was talking. I didn't feel any empathy from her. Looking back at that, it all kind of makes sense how the next things, like the next events, transpired, why she was like that. I was telling her all these things, like, I need to feel supported by you. And I make this comment with her, like, hey, like, I wanna come here tomorrow or next week, whatever. I said something about coming in like the next week or next day or whatever, and I want it to be like this. I remember what it was. I was talking about, I took some time off. I have time off because it was around the holidays. Like, I want to make sure that you can approve my time because I need it. And she was just kind of like stone faced or whatever about it. She didn't really respond to that at all. Okay, that's weird, but whatever. So she was just like trying to give semi encouraging words, and sorry that I haven't been feeling supported and whatever, blah 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 blah. Then she had to rush off to another meeting. So you know what, whatever. So I finished my work for the day, and I went home as usual. Mind you, this was the day before the election. So at the end of the day, before I clocked out, there was an email sent out to the company. It was like, you know what, hey, everyone who can work from home tomorrow, work from home tomorrow, because it's election day, so go out and vote. I didn't think nothing of it. I'm like, okay, whatever, cool. So that email was sent, and I was like, okay, I was work from home tomorrow. So the morning comes, election day. It was raining this day too, very, very hard. And I logged in to my computer, trying to get started with my work, checking my email, checking my calendar, blah, 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 blah. And then I noticed that I couldn't access Slack. If you don't know what Slack is like an instant messaging system. Some people may use like Microsoft Teams or whatever, but we use Slack. But I noticed that I couldn't access it. And I was like, okay, what's going on? I was like refreshing, signing in and out, even restarted my computer. I was just like, I couldn't access that. Then I couldn't access my email. And I was like, what the, what? So at this point, I already know. I'm like, oh crap, they're firing me. They're firing me. They're firing me. So I had texted my lead and I was like, you know what? We important detail. So that more we're supposed to have like our company wide meetings. It's supposed to be like at 9 or 10 a.m. whatever the company wide meeting, right? So this is when I had texted her. I was like, you know what? If I'm being fired, do I need to even log into the meeting? She was like, yeah, log on. Into the meeting, and it was our CEO, and he came on, and like the first thing that he said, very straight faces, unfortunately today we're having a layoff, and we have to lay off this amount of people. Like there was no emotion, there was nothing in it, and it was just very like cold. So I was listening to him, and he was going to like how their decisions as leaders has led them to this moment, and they're very regretful and they're very sorry, but this is what they have to do in order to take the company, blah 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 blah, blah. Just all that stuff. I was just like, this is how I find out that I'm getting let go. Really. You know what the weird thing about it is? I instantly didn't feel sad. I didn't even feel mad. I felt relieved. Relieved. And for me to have felt relieved after going through that, after being let go like that, being laid off after all that I've put into the company, feeling relieved, that's really telling at how bad the situation was prior to. So that's what I instantly felt. I felt relieved, and he was just like, we're gonna give you guys good severance packages. We appreciate all your work, and it was that. It was just like 5 minute meeting. It was very misleading for them to have shaped it as if it was us working from home because it was an election day, when in actuality they didn't want the drama of letting go of that many people on site. In a sense, I can understand that. What hurt me the most was I didn't even get a chance to clean out my own desk. Y'all touching on my stuff. I don't even know if all my stuff was even in there. I don't know what all I brought to work, but you sat there the day before, looked at me in my face, knowing that you let me go the next day, and didn't even allow me the chance to clean out my desk. I would have left quietly. I understand how HR is, so I understand like I couldn't go out blurting it to everyone what was going on. But what I could have done was at least took my things home, not having to have you guys pack it and pick it up from someone else. After they told us, like I said, I felt relieved and all of that, but then the emotion started to come. I instantly, like right after, I had texted my boyfriend, like, you're not gonna believe this. Like, what? And I was just like, I got laid off. He like I love my boyfriend because he came right away for me. Right away for me. Finding someone that loves me that much. Again, he was just there for me. Time from him, like saying, like, let me get myself together and I'll be over. From that point, like from them telling us to him coming over, didn't cry, didn't feel any type of way. But I've gotten like I was cool. Right when he came in the door, and we sat down on the couch and I sat in his lap, that's when the tears started to flow. And I started to feel the feels. I think what hurt was not being let go, but it was thinking that I had found friends in my coworkers. It was genuine connections, so I thought for them to be so business and not look out for me, it hurt. I understand being in that position that you're not allowed to tell people that they're about to be let go. I understand that. But it just made me realize like I just can't, I'm not the type of person. I can't go into work every day, look at you in the face, and know that you're gonna be fired tomorrow. Like, I couldn't do that. I mean, luckily for me, I didn't take it probably as hard as maybe some other people did. I just did not want to be in a position, in a role where I am doing that for a living. Layoffs don't happen often, or at least they shouldn't, but at this particular company, it was happening quite often. I was just like, this is too much for me. This was a lot. It was a lot to process. So for me, all the processing kind of came after I sat with it and I sat with him, started crying, and I told him, like, I just felt like they just threw me away. In ways I feel like out of the people that stayed, outside of like seniority, you know what? I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice. It's been a while since I reflected on this. Me having a dream about it last night, like, okay, maybe this is something I can make this video, can kind of let you guys know how I was kind of forced to doing content full time because at this point I had so much free time. So, like, the day after the layoff, I'm still kind of like processing everything. At this point, let me just get over. I'm just like, okay, Tamia, like, give yourself a week to figure out what you want to do. You're getting severance for a few months, so like this is actually a great thing. Kind of getting free time, not free time, but like time to figure it out. Didn't feel like that instant, like what am I gonna do tomorrow type feeling. I had a little time to prepare. I was a little prepared because I had savings. So I always recommend if you can put some money back each paycheck, if you can, please do, because things like this can happen. So I didn't feel scared like that. I just gave myself a week to figure out to me, like, what are you gonna do? And I've been talking about this with my boyfriend for the longest, and us trying to build our lives together, also build within ourselves individually. I've always talked about how I wanted to just do content full time. I do content. I love creating content. I love it, being creative and being in creative spaces. I think that at this point it was like, okay, Tamia, like, you've been saying it. You tried, you stopped, you tried, you stopped, you tried, you stopped. This time, you need to make it work. You need to make it work. You have been avoiding what is for you for the longest, right? Now I'm going to push you into a position to where you have to do this, to truly try. You have the time to truly try. I sat with that, and whether you believe in God or creator or the universe, and I feel like they're all encompass the same being. I feel like I was being pushed into a position to make my dreams come true. After making that coming to that realization, I was like, you know what, Mia? Do it. You have a few months, do it. Pour into it. And I was trying so many things at the beginning. I was trying so many things. I was trying Printify to Etsy, making a coloring book, posting fitness content, beauty content, all this stuff, until I got to the point where I am right now, where I was like, you know what, Mia, you made a commitment to start calisthenics, which that could be a whole nother video if you want to know how I started calisthenics. I wanted to start calisthenics, right? It's a form of fitness. You love fitness content. You want to be a fitness content creator. Make that your niche. Make that your niche. There is no woman, at least I haven't seen, no woman that looks like me doing calisthenics like that. That is your niche. It's very niche, and you can really jump into it. So that is what I have been doing. I have been creating calisthenics content, fitness content, a little sprinkle of here, different things like food and supplements, funny stuff, think pieces, things like that, to kind of diversify. But calisthenics, that is going to be the content that's going to push you over the top. I found some inspiration in the calisthenics world, but once again, none of them look like me. Yes, there are some Black women who are in calisthenics, but I haven't seen like a Black dark skinned woman with kinky coily hair. Just no one that looked like me. Don't get me wrong, like, I know I'm beautiful and I'm sexy as hell. Not that, it's not that, but finding people that look like me in the calisthenics space, I was like, you know what? Like, this isn't a thing right now, so you need to really hone in, make this your thing. So that's what I've been doing for the past couple months. It seems like I'm always on TikTok and social media, and now starting my YouTube channel, because I'm gonna make this work. This is gonna work. I can actually see myself being a full-time content creator. I'm moving as if I'm already a full-time content creator, making money, making money, making money. And though the money hasn't rolled in just yet, it's coming. And before the end of the year, I just know that I will be able to sustain myself on this. I already know. I got this new apartment, and it's crazy because I had got laid off literally after I got this apartment. It's just, it's crazy. But I took the experience. It was a terrible experience. And I chose to look at it as a blessing for myself. I left it behind. Don't look at anything from that company, anything from those people, except for one friend that I still am rooting for wholeheartedly. I'm pouring into my dream. I'm pouring into my dream. So in a way, I was kind of like forced at this point. All of those being inconsistent for so many years, now you're gonna have to be consistent. Now you're gonna have to be consistent in this content creation thing because you have no excuse now. I have no excuse. I have all the time in the world to make content. It can be difficult because you don't want to just be inauthentic, and I am a very authentic person. There have been some stumps, some days where I'm like, I don't really have to post, but no. Like, I am being consistent now moving forward, and this is gonna work for me. So that's my little story on how I got into content creation full time. I appreciate all the supporters thus far in my journey to making this work. I really hope that we can inspire each other to continue on because there's a lot of creators that have inspired me to keep going. Just seeing their journey and their journeys, not everyone's journey was just so fast where they just woke up one day and they just were viral and they just did some station and they were just able to quit their job. Like, no, like it took them time. It took them time. And me seeing the slow progress and me making this full time, I cannot stop. So I appreciate you guys and I hope to continue to inspire you and for you guys to inspire me as well. And I want us to support each other in our niches and in our content. It's just all love. So yeah. I guess this is a great way to end the video as the sun is coming back out. I know it's going in and out in this video, but I do appreciate you guys. There will be more content on my socials, especially here on YouTube. I'm excited to tackle YouTube. Keep posting on TikTok and Pinterest and maybe Instagram. But yeah, diversify. All that being said, though, I will keep pushing the calisthenics content, the fitness content. If you want to see anything specific, let me know. We'll start doing hauls for you guys for athletic wear because I feel like the athletic wear space, they lying to us, y'all. They lying to us. And I'm just so excited to be really taking this seriously and really making this work. So until next time, bye, honey.